Hi guys, it's me Tracy, and I am here with our pal Sonny, and we're going to do a little demonstration about cinching up, because I know that sometimes people ask me the question, well, my horse turns and nips at me, or he gets really grumpy, puts his ears back when I'm trying to put a saddle or a cinch on. Why does he do that? Well, the bad news is there may not be a simple answer, but there's always an answer. They're going to communicate something to you, and it's our job as the person to figure out what he's saying and what it is. It could be something physically that's bothering him, like the cinch is wrong, or it's in the wrong spot. Or it could be a behavior problem that he's just getting grouchy, and he's been taught to, if I do this behavior, the person will stop cinching me up. So we're going to use Sonny, who occasionally has that issue with my daughter when she rides, and see what we can find out. Check him out and see what might be going on with your horse. What we want to take a look at is the saddle pad, and we use Western tack primarily for our horses. So you want to make sure that the pad you're using fits the horse and is comfortable for him. I use about a 3/4 to an inch pad, regardless of which pad we're using. And on my mare, who has a high thin wither, she's an Arabian, we use this saddle pad that has a cutout, and it fits her withers perfectly. This, on Sonny, he doesn't really need that, so we're going to use his pad. It's also a little more colorful and cute on him. And again, the thickness is about the same. You want a nice pad that's going to provide some cushion between the saddle and his back. We want to make sure that the saddle's not hurting him, and maybe he's telling us, oh, something hurts me. So we use a nice comfy pad, and then we'll do the saddle. The next thing we're going to take a look at is the cinch. And if you're riding English, you might refer to it as a girth, but we call it a cinch when we're using Western tack. And we've got a couple examples here. And here's it's kind of an old school, the strands of the rope cinch, and this is a neoprene cinch with the buckles. You want to make sure your cinch is the correct size, so it's going to want to reach the horse and have these rings in the center right between his two front legs. So you want it to be situated there. Some horses don't like these because these may turn and twist and pinch them. So we're going to use the neoprene cinch today, and I'll show you in a second where that goes. I like to take a look at the thickness of my cinch as well, the width of it, I guess I should say. And sometimes if it's really a thinner cinch, it could push on the wrong spots. This gives a more broad area and hopefully should give more comfort to your horse. It would be like the difference between a thin belt and a thicker belt on me. I probably would like the thicker one. It would feel more comfortable. So we have the cinch hooked up on the other side for Sonny. And I'm going to get the strap down here. And when you put your cinch on, you want about 4 inches, so the width of your hand between his armpit and where the cinch goes. So maybe right about here. And we'll see what Sonny does, if he reacts to me or not. And if he does, I'm going to slow down and just take my time and see what's going on. I'll put our cinch up so I have lots. Now I've got the cinch in the right spot, and I'm going to keep my eye on Sonny. Just check his behavior, make sure that he is comfortable, and I'm not going to cinch it up really, really tight. We'll do that. We'll check it right before we get on, and then tighten it up, make sure it's nice and tight. But you also don't want to over tighten your cinch, because your horse has blood veins that run along their sides right here, and if you pinch those, or if it pushes too hard, it could hurt them. And how do they express themselves when they're hurt? They might buck, they might bite at you, they might be doing something to show you they're uncomfortable because they can't tell us. So I'm just going to turn this way so I can keep my eye on him. And he's looking at me. He doesn't seem to really care. He's tied up, so if he wanted to, he couldn't even reach me to give me a little nibble. But we're going to put the cinch on and leave it a little bit loose. If he reacts, I slow my movements down and just let him know he's okay. So we've got the cinch on, and it's loosely, you can see I can still stick my fingers on it. It's on loose, but it seems like every time I pull on it, he kind of reacts a little bit, but not too bad. We want to make sure that these strands of this particular cinch are straight and not pinching him or binding up anywhere, and then we'll be good to go. Okay, so let's pretend that Sonny did react and he was turning his head at me and he was putting his ears back and upset. What would I do? Well, at this point, it could be anything. It could be that he didn't like it, it hurt, or something. So I might just loosen it. And we'd practice. We'd just have it here for a little while and have it nice and loose. And I would take it on and off a couple of times and just keep it loose. So he knows, oh, this thing, we're going to break that habit. Because if he has it in his head that this hurts, maybe one time it did hurt, and he remembers that. So if he does remember that, we'll just take the cinch on and off a couple of times. Take our time. Take a half an hour doing it if you're not freezing outside in the cold weather. Or he could be just irritated with you, and we're just going to break that habit. We're going to get him to do something different. So I would try that a couple of times. You know, maybe I'd come out to the barn 3 or 4 times, and before I ride, I'd loosen it and untighten it and take it off a couple of times. If that didn't work to break the habit and he was still turning his head at me, I would keep my eye on him, like he's keeping his eye on me right now, and I might just push his face back to where I want it and stop what I'm doing to take the time to do that. The main thing is don't hurry and don't rush. It could be that he's just cranky and he's had a bad habit start, and we just need to break that habit. So take your time, be slow, and then reward him with lots of pats and loves and scruffles when he does do the right thing and he doesn't do the behavior that you don't want, because you want to praise them when they're doing the right thing, because they love praise and treats too. That's about it. Hope that helped. Have a good day and see you next time.